Danny Flexon for Seconds Out here with John Hedges, the gentleman.
Yeah, how's it going? All good?
Nice to meet you, or meet you, as I guess they say these days when it's over the internet. How you doing?
Yeah, all well, thank you, Danny. Yeah, just keeping training, doing what I can do, and yeah, enjoying it. Yeah, we're making the best of a bad situation.
You appear to be in some sort of trophy room. Do you want to just give us a quick lowdown of what's behind you?
Oh yeah, so the white one there, the white one's from this year's National Youth Championships. The maroon one is my National Youth title belt from this year as well, and then that's my Junior ABA belt from 2018. So there's me. There's 3 national titles there. Then going down, I've got my international ones at the bottom. I've got 7 international titles. I've got 2 Denmark, 1 Italian, 2 Swedish. There's me 5. And then I've got at the back there 1 in Germany and 1 in Holland. And then as we go over here, I've got Tri-Nation finals. So coming number 2 in Britain in 2016, becoming British champion in 2018. And then this one here, representing England in Germany, and 3 fights, 3 wins, winning gold out there. So,
and all that in just 44 amateur fights, is that right?
44 amateur fights. It's always been at like the high end. I've not had many club shows. I think I've had, just trying to think now, 6, 7 club shows, and all the rest have been championships and for England.
What made you decide just about a month after your last national title to decide to turn over?
The main thing was really I've got to say it was Sam Jones. He got in contact, and from that point, that was who I was looking at going with and turning pro with. So as soon as he got in contact with me, it was my mind was near enough made up. And this lockdown, we had this coming. The European Games were meant to be in August, and obviously with everything that was going on, they got set back. And I thought, there's no telling when this is going to be. And it was just, it felt the right time. I was on a roll. I was in good stead, looking sharp in the gym. So I thought, yeah, let's put it to good use. And I was ready for the pro game.
So no real ambition for the Olympics, obviously not next year, but the next one after that?
It would have been 2024 Paris. And I strongly believe I was on the setup for it. And obviously I must have been a favourite. And I think I would have gone. But 4 years on my career now, it's I know I'd still only be young. I'd be 21. But there's no telling with injuries, Danny, is there? Like I could break my leg tomorrow, and I haven't even tried out what I wanted to do. And so that was my main perspective there.
What first got you into boxing when you were a kid? Like, how young were you as well when you started?
I started at age of 6. So I started at 6, boxed from a local boxing club in Bishop Stortford, and my dad started running the gym as it goes. So I just basically going in the gym with my dad, and then my brother boxed for West Ham at the time. So as soon as I was able to shape up, my dad took me straight down there, trained under Mickey May. I wasn't there long. Must have done about a year there, just doing pads really. Weren't really doing a lot. And then my brother had to move to Repton Boxing Club. And as soon as he made that move, I went with him. And that's where it all started. I had 4 fights for Repton. Didn't have a very good record there. I only won 2. No, tell a lie. Won 3, lost 1.
It's not too bad a record, is it?
No, but it was more.
For you,
it was more.
Not, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah, it was more the way I was boxing as well. So I wasn't boxing my best. I wasn't boxing how I should have been boxing, and so I come out of that, and I went straight to Sab Leo, and it was literally not because of how I was boxing. It was the pressure. My dad was my coach at Repton as well, and I felt like there was a lot of pressure on my shoulders, and I weren't performing how I should have been performing. So as soon as I moved to Sab, he took me to the next level.
How does your dad feel then about not being the head coach anymore?
He's still one of the main coaches at Oddeston, but he's not the head coach. And that's even at Repton, he wasn't the head coach, but he was kind of getting pushed towards him. Right. So I never really I like to have someone else's opinion, and it don't take over your life, if you know what I mean. Because if your dad's your coach, he gets brought up around the dinner table and brought up at breakfast time. You don't seem to have no end.
So who's going to be training you as a pro? Where are you going to be based?
I'm staying with my amateur coach, Sab Leo.
Staying with Sab.
Yep, staying with Sab. Yeah, it's worked so far. We've got a great
guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, and he's a great coach. He knows his boxing. And at this moment in my career, I don't think I could get anyone better. And not just that, we have such a good bond. he would be the one I'd pick anyway. So yeah, I'm staying with Sablier.
And whereabouts are you based now?
I'm right near Stansted Airport, so I'm just borderline Essex, come under Essex, and obviously the gym's only in Holliston. It's about a 30-minute drive.
That's
So,
not too bad.
It's lovely, isn't it? Really for me. Take myself to the gym, train 3-4 times a day. It's brilliant.
You signed with S-Jam, as you mentioned earlier. Sam Jones, Adam Morley. Spoke to Sam Jones earlier. He called you a superstar in the making. He's prone to a bit of hyperbole, Sam. He even called me a good interviewer. So I take it all with a pinch of salt. But in fairness, he's bringing lads along really well. Obviously, Joe Joyce, he's got Cody Davis. What convinced you to join him? What was it he was doing that impressed you?
What I liked about S-Jam was there's loads of managements out there. You've got MTK, you can go with Frank Warren as your manager, Eddie Earn as your manager, but they've all got a lot of boxers. Sam Jones brought to the table, Sam and Adam, 8 fighters, 8 high-level, top-spec, brilliant fighters to the game. And if I can mix with them, I'm a strong believer iron will sharpen iron. If you mix with the best, you'll become the best. And in that camp, you've got Lerone Richards, who's currently boxing at my weight one, going to debut at super middle. You've got Cody Davis, who tried super middle, but he's a natural light heavy. So he's only a 3 kilo, 4 kilo heavier. And they're 2 of the best, in my opinion. So I'll be straight in with them boys, as well as you've got Vianello, obviously, heavyweight, Joe Joyce, and some other big names. So I just think it's a great base, and you're a family. We're in group chats together. Where there's only 8 of us, we're all close. It's not like with them other companies, there's all in the same management. You don't even know who that other boxer is. It's nice to walk into a stable and everyone know everyone and be like a little family.
Which of the current pros that we know about have you sparred while you were still an amateur?
Denzel Bentley.
Yeah, he's good.
Done many rounds with Denzel. I'm just trying to think now. So I've done Denzel, Danny Dignam. Yeah. Very close friends with Danny. Basically like family, me and Danny are, to be honest. Danny and Johnny.
About 5 minutes ago, Danny Dignam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm meeting him later in the week.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can put my name across. Yeah, me and Danny, just trying to think now. All down Peacock. Who else did I spar down Peacock? There's a couple of upcoming pros, but big named ones, I'd probably say. Sparred Jules Inares as a youngster.
Wow.
Yeah, down Haymaker shift. 15.
Jesus, that must have been an experience at 15.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I went down there with Henry Turner, and then Henry sparred the first day. I didn't even spar. And then I went down with Alfie Price the following week, I think it was. And then obviously he sparred that day. And I'm just trying to think now. Obviously, from our club, we've got Connor Wright, 8-0. Yeah, quite a good prospect. Alex Bishop sparred with, grew up with. Quite a good. They're the big names I'd say so far.
How'd you get on with Linares? Were you a bit starstruck at first?
Yeah, exactly that. Do you know what? He just went through the motions with me. He wasn't a liberty taker, and he was just playing with his jab and things like that. So he was just more getting in the ring with a world champion.
Yeah, no, it must have been amazing. Who did you kind of look up to when you were coming into the sport? Who were your idols in boxing?
I've always been a Tyson Fury man. Like literally from the age of 8, a little fat kid, Tyson Fury was my role model, and he's come on top at the time I'm turning pro, so it's just made it even better. My role model from a kid, I'm still a kid now, but my role model from a kid was Tyson, and now he's on top, so can't ask for no more than that.
Have you had the opportunity to meet him yet?
Yeah, I met him as I was only like 10. Met him at 10 years old, come and pick me up. Both from a travelling background, he picked me straight up. He obviously must have stood out or something, and got a photo with him. And so it was the first time. But I'd love to meet him again. That's the kind of stable I'd see myself in maybe in the future, boxing alongside. I'd love to. It'd be brilliant. Even just get a bit of tips off him. Peter Fury, John Fury, all great fighters. Not so much saying I want to change coach, but
horrible way to find out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, imagine. But just to get tips off anyone. But yeah, still obviously staying with my man Sam.
You said Tyson picked you out. Where was that?
That was at York Hall. So I was literally a 10-year-old kid. Yeah, at a show in York Hall. A 10-year-old kid. I was just literally just walking about, and I see him. He was just about to go in. He was only 4-0 at the time, and the massive queue, everyone trying to get a photo. And I walked past. I think I was a bit cheeky or a bit saucy, and he liked it. And he stopped me and picked me up and got a photo. So
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, it
And
was cool.
you mentioned him being kind of a role model. You're obviously a 6'5" super middleweight, which is just crazy to me. Like, obviously, before we talk about how you even make the weight, how kind of do you plan for the future as a pro when you must still be growing?
I do think I'm going to move through the divisions. I can't say I'd be lying if I said I made it easy because I don't. But I've never tried making it, living a professional life and being a full-time professional. So that's obviously going to help. It might put on weight because I'm training hard, I'm building more muscle. There's no tellings, but I feel like if I take the sport as serious as I know I can and actually train like a professional 3-4 times a day, every day of the week, then the weight will be easier. But realistically, I see myself having a couple of super middle, moving up the light heavy, making my career in the light heavy division, and then probably finishing off as a cruiser if I keep on growing.
What's the secret to kind of making weight? I know you said you've never done it as a pro before, but you've been making 75 as an amateur. What,
Yeah,
6'5"? I mean, how do you do it?
literally, and everyone sees me in the gym. I literally I do live in a sweatsuit, if I'm honest. back then, but no, I was always trained hard. Eating and drinking always healthy. No, not on the alcohol, not junk food. Just ate clean, and it didn't feel like I was dieting. Come near fight week, I was cutting my meals down, just cutting portion sizes, still getting food in. And then 3 days before, I'd cut all fluid intake because I had nothing in me. And just banging the old sweatsuit on and getting the weight off. And literally old-fashioned ways, day before, maybe going to a sauna or a steam room just to dry it out of me.
Have you had any opponents in the amateurs who've come close to your height?
Believe it or not, I got beat by a boy called Khalid Ayub. And it was before I had my growth spurt. So, yeah, he was like, I was like 6'6", but he was like 6'3". He was massive at the weight. And that's kind of actually, from that fight, made me think, I've got to be big at the weight. Like, my style suits being big. And I had my growth spurt. And then I held 70, believe it or not. Everyone was talking about me at 70 kilo because I was like 6'3", 70 kilograms. And they was like, that's unreal. You can't, that's not normal. And then obviously I moved up to middleweight and grew a couple, 2 more inches. And I only went up 5 kilograms. So, yeah, that was it.
Well, you're probably going to get taller as well. You're still only 18.
Chances are, and I do hope so, but 6'5" is doing me now. That
It's tall enough. I mean, I'm not saying you need to get taller, but Jesus.
Bit of filling out.
And you're like an awkward southpaw as well. Like, you can bang a bit, but you're an awkward southpaw. You're going to pose people problems regardless of whether you had the power or not.
Yeah. My power's going to come. I've had a few stoppages, not loads. I've had 4 stoppages, but always gave counts of 8s. So every fight, maybe 1 in every 2 fights, I'd give someone a count of 8. Wouldn't stop them, but give them a count of 8. And I think that's in the program's going to suit me even more because they're stinging shots, but they're not a knockout shot. But 10-ounce gloves, 8-ounce gloves, they're going to obviously sting a lot more than what they was in the amateurs. And and I'm an awkward southpaw. I'm 6'5" and a southpaw. It's a lot of people's nightmare.
Yeah. And Sam Jones, that man again, he's described you as looking like a young Leonardo DiCaprio. What do you make of that?
Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. No, I think it's the curtains, isn't it? It's got to be something to do with the curtains. But he said to me, as soon as I went to see him, I see him up London, went to his office, and he said, John, you're going to be a superstar. He said, I've seen your boxing ability. I rate your boxing. I rate everything about you. But he said, your likability is also a massive thing. And you bring that factor to boxing. He said, if you don't make it in boxing, you're going to make it in something else. And then we started joking about. And he was like, listen, I think you've got to get into acting before you start this boxing job and you ruin your looks. That's how it all come about. But yeah, it's good. The whole point of the Gentleman John was I got called it as during primary school, and it just stuck. And I've just never really changed as a person. I've always been quite down to earth, and it's nice to be nice at the end of the day.
Who gave it to you in primary school? Like a teacher or one of the kids?
Yeah, one of my teachers. I was a proper fat kid. And everyone was like, oh, he's a boxer, he's going to start like arguments at school and all this. And I was just completely the other side. I was too nice to box. Just a proper little soft kid, really. And growing up, everyone just gave me that name. And then I got into me boxing serious. And I was like, Gentleman John. And then there was obviously an old school fighter, Gentleman James J. Braddock.
Of course, yeah.
Cinderella. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Gentleman Johnny Jim. So my name's John James. So he was JJ. So I was JJ. So he just stuck that way.
Oh, brilliant. Well, before we let you go, something we usually do with people who are interviewing for the first time, just tell people out there how they can follow you on social media, what your different handles are.
Instagram, John Hedges 1. It's one of my main uses. So yeah, please hit up my Instagram, people. Facebook, John Hedges, and then Twitter is John Hedges _.
Brilliant. We really appreciate you doing this interview with us.
Thank you
Hopefully
very
you
much,
get to
Danny.
make your debut as soon as possible once lockdown finishes.
Yeah, I hope so. They're talking about putting it behind closed doors, but there's been no final answers about it. So just fingers crossed, and it all works out.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to see you in action.
Thank you very much, Danny. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Take care. Bye.